What's up, lore masters? Today I wanted to take a look at the differences between Beckett Marinor and Michael Burnham. For me, these characters have effectively the same character arcs, but one is written a lot better than the other. And yes, Jesse Gender, I mean written better, not that I like one character over the other. And this is a good comparison because ultimately, we're looking at similar people. A hot-as-hell person of color finds themselves at the top of their game. Through various negative events that happen in their lives, they are demoted down to the lowest ranks and/or thrown out of Starfleet. They ultimately find their belief in Starfleet and, through adversity, work to save the day. Both deal with controversy and contrivance to find the error that's within themselves, not in those around them. They are the villains of their own story. They ultimately find their belief in Starfleet as well as what an officer should be. This leads them to saving the people they love and growing within their specific spheres. As stated, one of these is a great story and exploration of what that character is. The other isn't. But the question is, why are these different? Well, let's break it down. But before I begin, let me go ahead and give this disclaimer. If you like Michael Burnham, that's fine. You can think the character is great and even that her story arc is awesome. I, personally, don't. I think her character is written in an objectively bad way when you look at story writing as well as filmmaking. I don't think the way she is portrayed makes sense, and she is a Mary Sue in some form or another. All of that said, even if I bring up objective facts and ways of storytelling, and I show you how within film she's not that great, that doesn't mean you can't like her. Hell, you can even disagree that those should be objective facts. The great thing about all of this is that even if it is objective, art in every form will ultimately still be subjective. Getting to it though, one of the key differences between Michael Burnham and Beckett Marinor is that while they are both at the top of their game, Michael is treated with a savior complex that she is the best. She betrays everyone and is claimed to start a war. It's arguable on whether she did, but whatever. Burnham knows and explains literally almost everything. She can out-science a science officer. She can out-tactics a tactical officer. She rarely ever doesn't have knowledge the others have. She will be the one to either come up with something or none of them know it. She becomes respected by a captain of the Mirror Universe, changes the Emperor of said Mirror Universe to good, or at least changed them to a form of evil good, goes against a Starfleet admiral who wants to fundamentally change Starfleet, and then wins the war because she did this, and that's really all just off the top of my head. I'm not even trying. Burnham can do any and everything, and ultimately people will love her for it, or at least be neutral. Is there even a person that doesn't, at a minimum, respect the great Michael Burnham? This is a negative because the audience cannot relate with the character. The character is supposed to be the protagonist, the hero, and we cannot relate to her. This is something you rarely ever see in projects that are successful. The ability to relate with the main character, the person you're supposed to relate with. Conversely, Marinor is an extremely intelligent and street-smart officer. From what we can tell, she was a part of a bridge crew and was even an asset on First Contacts. She saw what being on the senior crew meant and started becoming a nuisance to get demoted to ensign and stay within the lower decks. Her mother, the captain, is exceptionally irate with her and constantly tries to find ways to either get the woman kicked out of Starfleet or knock some sense into her. In the future, we learn that ultimately her mother keeps her on the ship to protect her from being thrown out of Starfleet, ironically, even if she acts like that's what she wants to do. Marinor's not really all that liked by the bridge crew either. Throughout the interactions, the ensign will play critical roles in missions where she is a part of the solution. She rarely is the complete solution herself. She is not the critical piece of the puzzle though. Michael Burnham is literally made to be an angel. Marinor is just someone who is exceptionally good at doing her job. One of these is more Trek than the other, and that's saying something since in DS9 we had Space Jesus, and yet not as bad as an angel. Both characters, going back to Marinor and Michael, supposedly go through an arc of humbling. They realize where they may or may not have been wrong and come to terms with those they slighted. Marinor in this definitively has this arc. She comes to a better connecting with her mom, and both of them realizing they can work together. They can work both sides of the system. Burnham she falls into it. I don't really see where her arc has a culmination. They try to put her and Spock together and have some kind of connection. She makes Spock better, but it's not really there. And yeah, sure, her standing up to the Admiral is supposed to be her greatness, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing that builds her up to that. She, again, just falls into it. No real moment that you see. But with Marinor, an entire episode is dedicated to the culmination of her arc. There are a lot of ways I could really go into how they are different and how one is written better over the other. However, I'll just end this by saying that with Marinor, we know that she is an evolved human, that she's at the standard the rest of us aren't. She can do things that it would take computers days to do, but she's also human. She's relatable. You cannot say that about Michael. Not really. At least that's my opinion. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.